It's HPR, All Things Considered, and I'm Dave Lawrence. Today, welcoming a real entertainment industry legend. You may have even grown up with this cat's music.
Take the last train to Clarksville and I'll meet you at the station. You can be here by 4:30, cause I've made your reservation. Don't be slow. No. Hey, we're the Monkees. And people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down.
Micky Dolenz of the Monkees, the voice of some of their biggest hits.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm not your stepping stone. I'm not your stepping stone. Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? Mary, where you going to? Mary, can I go to?
Coolest for us, he's bringing his Songs and Stories show to the Hawaii Theater, October 11th. Mickey, so grateful.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it. Our first show, our first concert ever was in Honolulu. I believe it was the end of '66, like December 2nd or 3rd or something like that, after the show had gone on the air. And that was our first concert.
Ever was here in town. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
You have the steaming recent live record called Live at the Troubadour. If folks haven't heard it, it's a great way to catch up on where Mickey's at these days. Is this the same band that you're bringing to Hawaii this time, Mickey?
Yes, exactly. As a matter of fact, the same band and more or less the same show. That was a year ago. We've tweaked it a bit. The show is called Sounds and Stories. Over the years, I've always told stories once in a while and little bits, snippets here and there. And I tell a story about Stephen Stills and Elton John, Jimi Hendrix. As you may have heard, Jimi Hendrix was our first opening act of the Monkees.
Yep.
As strange as that may seem, I claim responsibility, I'm afraid. I thought it was a great idea. And he was our first opening act. So I tell that story. And then what I do is I always make sure that the punchline to the story is a song that is relevant to the story. And that's what the show has become. And of course, it's always the big Monkey hits, always the big ones. I do them in their entirety. I do them, no medleys, sing all the songs in their original keys, I'm proud to say, so far.
Well, that's the cool thing. You guys just have a lot of material that you don't necessarily have to perform, but that are part of your legacy.
You just hit a good point, and I have to give credit where credit's due. We had some of the greatest songwriters ever writing for us, writing for me. People like Carole King and Jerry Goffin, Neil Diamond, Neil Sedaka, Boyce and Hart, David Gates, Carol Bayer Sager, Paul Williams. So I was blessed to have all these incredible writers writing for me.
Did you get to have personal interactions with Carole King, Neil Sedaka, Neil Diamond?
To some degree, it depends. In those days, writers were not really that well known. You very seldom knew who the writer was on a song unless you looked at the fine print on the 45, and then you're like, who is that? But yes, I remember meeting Carol. I remember Boyce and Hart, of course, very well. They wrote some of our biggest hits, Clarksville, Stepping Stone, The Theme. And they also produced the first couple of albums. But I met all of them, met everybody at some point or another, yeah.
At the same time that the Monkees were really big on TV, there is this connection between the Monkees and the Beatles. Can you explain how this evolves and getting to actually be up close and personal with them at that point?
Well, simply we went on tour and we went to England, went to London, played Wembley Stadium. That was, I think, the first gig, a couple of nights at Wembley. The music was very popular. The show was very popular over there. We had a huge turnout. We just got invited places. The Beatles actually threw us a party at a very famous club, and everybody was there besides the Beatles. The Monkees, in a funny way, was extremely well received over in England. I put that down to a couple of things, but one of them is that the television show followed a bit of a tradition that already existed in England, which was that sketch comedy satirical thing like The Goon Show, Peter Sellers, Harry Seacombe, Spike Milligan, and then later on, Monty Python and the Goodies. That tradition of that sketch comedy kind of show went back in England to the 50s, but we really never had anything like that over here on television. The comedy here was, tended to be stand-up or buddy comedies on TV or I Love Lucy, great show. And it was John Lennon, who I understood was one of the first to say, yeah, the Monkees, I like the Monkees. They're like the Marx Brothers. And he was absolutely accurate. That was a great call. The Monkees was much more like the Marx Brothers than the typical comparison was the Beatles or a rock and roll band. Remember, the Monkees was a television show about a band.
Right.
And I remember they played us Marx Brothers movies at the beginning before we started filming to capture that kind of vibe, that, I guess, wacky, kind of zany vibe. And that's what the Monkees was all about on television. Then when we went over there and played live in the concerts and stuff, we were immediately welcomed into the scene. Paul McCartney invited me over to his house one night. I actually tell that story. And then the next day, he invited me to some recording sessions at Abbey Road Studios. But you'll have to come to the show if you want to hear that story.
Now, you're good at teasing them. That's funny that the way you talk about, there's artists understanding you in some cases better than other artists. When it came to the Monkees, people who you attracted, that people may be surprised.
Well, you make a good point. And the show, I believe, looking back, the music stands up because it was written by great writers. I'd like to think that I had something to do with it in my vocals, and we did in our vocals and our playing. And so many artists over the years have come to me and said, oh my gosh, you were such an inspiration. And we did an album a few years ago when Mike and Peter were still alive called Good Times. And Ben Gibbard wrote a song for us, which I do in the show. Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie, Rivers Cuomo from Weezer. And then I just did an EP of REM tunes because I'd heard that they had been big fans. Michael Stipe came to my record day, and all of them did. All the REM guys came to my record day for that EP, and we're like, just gushing about, what big fans they were. So, yeah, I mean, it is gratifying over the years to think that you've made, some sort of an impact.
Well, we're wrapping it up with a guy who's a real legend and part of so many people's lives, and we're so grateful that you came, that you're coming to town, and people are going to get to hear a lot of stories in person when you're there. It's Micky Dolenz of the Monkees, the last monkey. That's heavy to say. His Songs and Stories show, Hawaii Theater. It is October 11th.
And I hope to see you at the show.
Was it a fun interview today?
Yeah, well done. I love it when people have done their homework and know what they're talking about. Believe me, it doesn't always happen.
You're the man. I'm giving you high fives, Micky. You're such a good sport.
Thank you. I love All Things Considered, by the way.
That's fantastic. Sending you love. Big hug and high fives, and we'll look forward to your show.
Bye-bye.
Sock it to me. Floating in the river with a saturated liver, and I wish I could forgive her, but I do believe she meant it when she told me to forget it, and I bet you will forget it when you find me in the morning wet and drown. I'm going down. I'm coming up for air. there was pretty stuff under there, like to say I didn't care, but I forgot to leave a note, and it's so hard to stay afloat, soaking wet without a boat, and I knew I should have taken off my shoes. It's front page news, going down, going down. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Help, 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 help. I wish I had another drink, I wouldn't be so hard to sink. I should have taken time to think, besides I got the picture straight. You must have had another date, I didn't need this extra way to wish that I could see the way to show. I don't want no more going down. I'm going down. And now I see the left, I let it slip, but all the way I made it. Should have learned to swim instead of naturally got me stuff. I can't believe it. Why I jump in life again? My tummy pump. I can't believe that trend is stuck in town. This dirty brown. I'm going down. Going down. I'm going down. 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 I wish I'd looked before I leave, but didn't know it was so deep and down so far. Don't get wet. I haven't touched the bottom yet. This river scene is getting old. I'm hungry, sleepy, wet and cold. She told me to forget it nice. I should have taken her advice. I only want to go on home. I'd gladly leave that girl alone. What a way to spend the night. If I don't drown, I'll die of fright. My pappy taught me how to float, but I can't swim a single note. He threw me in to teach me how. I stayed there floating like a mama cow, and now I floated way downstream. No, this has to be a dream. If I could find my way to shore, I'd never, never do this anymore. Now give you three up and down, now I'm going down. Just one more time, go down. I'm not going down. Going down. Going down. I'm going down. Going down. Back home. Back home. Back home. Going down. Going down. I'm going down. I'm going back home. Back to my friends. Back to the worm. Back to the tooth. I'm going home. Now the sky is getting light. Everything will be alright. Think I finally got the knack of just floating lazy on my back. I never really liked that town. I think I'll ride the river down, just moving slow and floating free. There's a river swinging under me, waving back to the slopes on shore. I should have thought of